Okay.
Sorry, I don't mean to bust your balls. Go ahead.
No. It's cool. I mean, I think thousands of people want to see me jerk my dick, but that's just me.
I don't know about that, but okay, go ahead.
Okay. So, anyway, everybody's getting. A lot of people are getting super offended about it. They obviously nobody likes to have their way of enjoying things be attacked, or like they don't. If they perceive that their way of enjoying things is going to be attacked, they're going to be automatically defensive about it.
Right.
And I understand that. However, then I saw this clip of, I believe it was a PWG show.
Okay.
It involved the Young Bucks, Adam Cole, and who I believe to be Will Ospreay. If I'm wrong, somebody please correct me.
Okay.
And on of it, and for whatever reason, they just start doing RKO after RKO after RKO.
Every show's been doing that recently.
Including Adam Cole doing the actual Orton taunt, the one where he's just like banging his fist and humping the mat.
Yeah, I saw that.
And then there was the part where for whatever reason, the Young Bucks got into an electric chair position. Will Ospreay grabbed him in a wrist punch, went to the top rope, and then went 180 and RKO'd the both of them, causing both of them to drop into the face first in the ground. And I'm just sitting here like, okay, what exactly was your point here?
Right.
And if your point was just, that should show him. How the fuck did that show work? You just did this finish a whole bunch of times for no reason other than to be like, ha. You literally just proved this point that you all look like geeks in March.
Okay. I mean, okay. There was another show or two that I've seen clips of that on the internet, and it's not just the PWG, but there have been a few places that have been doing that, and it's to a point where I saw it online somewhere where it's like, okay, like you're kind of proving another point too, where people are like, oh well, Orton can make fun of these indies, or he could talk shit about them, but the indies can't do anything to talk shit about him in response. And like, okay, I get it. There's a lot of indie guys, and the Bucks are they're a good team, but they're nothing. And I know I'm going to get shit for this, and I really don't care. They're nothing but glorified spot monkeys. There's no psychology to what they do other than the super kick party, a flipping tombstone pile driver, which I think they call the Meltzer driver. And it's I mean, okay. So
issue with the Young Bucks.
I'm sorry, what?
I don't mean to cut you off, but I have to get this out there.
Okay.
It's not that their matches have no psychology. It's that it's an intentional lack of psychology at this point.
Right.
They know exactly what they're doing. They know they know.
Right.
Their matches, they're at this point. I feel like they're going out of their way to remove psychology out of the equation.
I guess so, but in the same sense, like, okay, I totally lost my train of thought. But with the Bucks, I mean, they are, and I'm going to get shit for this, they're indie lifers. They've been offered not numerous, but they've been offered contracts by WWE before, and they turned it down. They're still making money on the independents because of what they do. Or for, if you're on the other side of the fence, for what they don't do. Whatever that means. But they're making money on the independents. They turned down the WWE before. WWE creatively has gone out of their way to kind of take a jab or two at them, or all that other bull. but they're still making money, and yet it's come full circle to the point now where, they had the Hardys' last match in Ring of Honor before they came over from WrestleMania, and McMahon had called them and said, dude, just take care of them, they got a big day ahead of them tomorrow. And then there was another instance, I think I read somewhere, where the Bucks had been contacted by the WWE again, I guess in the name of protecting a potential future WWE property. I can't remember what it is offhand, but they've gone from, and this also has to do, I believe, with the fact that Triple H is at the helm, a guy who was one of the boys, so I guess he kind of gets it that certain aspects of the business changed. Like, you remember in the 2000s, in the early 2000s, the DDT was this day and age's super kick. Everybody and their fucking mother used the DDT. Like, everybody and their mother right now is using a super kick or some sort of variation of the super kick. It's fact. I mean, I'm sorry, but it's fact. Everybody uses a DDT. Everybody's now using a super kick. All right, great. But I will say the Fight Forever chants are annoying. I will say that the This Is Awesome chant is overdone, and now it's just like, it's almost like the fans are trying to piss the other fans off, because it's like, all right, come on, shut up. And yet they're still saying, this is awesome, fight forever. Whereas in like the early 2000s, the big thing was if it were AJ Styles versus Samoa Joe in Ring of Honor, it'd be AJ Styles, let's go Joe, like the dueling chants. I mean,
it's not even like, okay, this has been going on for way longer.
Right, but I'm just saying when it was at its peak.
All of this was ECW.
True. But it's just, for whatever reason, it seems like it was more of an issue. Maybe because I paid more attention to it, in the early 2000s versus in the 90s. But I feel like as rowdy and as raunchy and as out of control, supposedly, and as free-spirited, I guess, if you will, what the ECW crowds were then, it's like, God, these younger people are annoying as fuck now. I mean, that's the way I'm interpreting it, but I don't know.
Now that, okay, it's evolved to a point where a lot of fans don't even come to wrestling shows to watch wrestling.
They just come to chant.
They come to get themselves over.
True. Speaking of getting fans over, I'm still waiting for my Slammy Award for that Raw after WrestleMania 29, just to throwing it out there. Anyway, go ahead.
Wait, what?
The Slammy Awards had an award one year for the best crowd or something, and it was without a shadow of a doubt the Raw after WrestleMania 29, when the whole Fandango chants were going, and that was like the first real time that the crowd has taken over the show, like on a larger scale. So, and then the crowd won a Slammy Award, and ever since then, it's been over 4 years now. Half jokingly, I'm like, hey, WWE, you got enough money, send me a fucking Slammy. I was there, I could prove that I had my ticket.
That's actually a good point. WWE, send him his Slammy.
You have to hand it to me, my fiance, and her brother, because all three of us were there.
Like, you can't, you already killed kayfabe dead enough. Now you want to stop leaving the Slammies?
I'm kind of glad they did away with that. I don't think they're doing it again this year. I mean, it just turned into a big bullshit gimmick at this point. I mean, and every Raw is 3 hours. I know I'm kind of going off track. Every Raw is 3 hours now. Like, the allure of, like, an old school Raw or the Slammy Awards, it's just not there because, every Raw is 3 hours. All right, so you want a special Raw. Okay, let's make it 4 hours? Fuck that. It's already bad enough that WrestleMania...
I'm waiting for an old school Raw to be like, it's only 1 hour.
Yeah, right?
That's old school. That's like early 90s. You can't get more old school than that.
No, you can't. I don't even remember when they went to 2 hours, to be honest, but I don't remember them announcing it, but I remember being like, wow, they're on longer. This is actually pretty sweet.
Well, yeah, this was right around the time Nitro was really picking up heat.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Everything Yep, everything right now in wrestling, I'm probably wrong in saying this. You can thank, well, I mean, you can obviously thank Vince McMahon because, he still kept his empire going. But to force these changes, you have to thank Eric Bischoff first and foremost, and then Paul Heyman right behind him. Because Paul Heyman was doing everything on a lower scale, whereas Bischoff took it by the balls and did it on a much larger scale.
But you can also argue the fact that Heyman provided most of the blueprint, pretty much all the blueprint for the Attitude Era.
For the Attitude part, yes. He was the breeding ground. He was single-handedly... He was the sole responsible, being for pretty much the plethora of talent that went to both companies during that time. Because you had Benoit, you had Malenko, you had Guerrero, you had Jericho, Mysterio, Psychosis, Steve Austin after he had come and done his thing in the WCW and yeah.
Foley.
I'm sorry.
Foley.
Yeah, but that's kind of later. I'm meaning like right away, because you look at the WCW cruiserweights where it was Guerrero, Jericho, Mysterio, Malenko, for the longest time, and Psychosis on top of other guys like Juventud Guerrera and all that other stuff. He basically helped breed these guys to where they are right now. So, I mean, for the most part, I can't really speak for all of them, but then there were a bunch of other. I mean, but then later on, I guess you could say later on because WWF at the time and ECW had that working relationship where the original Alliance angle pretty much invaded Raw with Sabu and Taz and Sandman and Dreamer and RVD and all that stuff. But and speaking of which, cheap plug for my show tomorrow. We're gonna after we talk about Raw, SmackDown, whatever, which I didn't really watch a lot of this week. We're gonna rebook the Alliance angle. We're gonna rebook the Alliance angle, not necessarily go piece by piece because that could take fucking forever, but talk about
like forever.
Yeah.
Book forever.
Yeah, no, you. But basically, just like talk about if certain players were involved again, or if they were involved at all, how certain people's careers might be changed, and how certain things would have probably been different. So tune into that tomorrow at 9 Eastern. But anyway, cheap plug for my show. But back to what we were originally saying, and then Orton. I don't know how much of it was him taking a shot at his comments, but did you see the video in which they had of the pool party at his house, and the kid flipped into the pool, and I guess it's his wife or whomever was like, "Oh, good flip." It's almost like a subtle cheap shot. I don't know if that's really what the purpose was, but somebody could look at it and be like, "Oh, cheap shot," and then Orton RKO's a kid into a pool.
I mean, that's pretty funny.
It's funny, but it's like, wow, dig it a little deeper now. But no, I found that to be funny. But either way,
I just kind of thought that everybody took shots at Orton because it's the whole he's the establishment, he's Randy Orton.
But do you think they took a shot? Yeah, but do you think? I mean, his title reign. His last few title reigns have been absolutely boring. I mean, in this last one, he lost the title on his first defense to Jinder Mahal.
When was the last time he was champion before that?
A long time ago.
The authority angle?
Yeah. Yep. Which is okay, and he sucked then too.
No. I mean, no. I thought going towards the end, it started really picking up because that's when the Daniel Bryan thing was really heating up.
Yeah, but come on, the fans. I mean, this is where they get involved a little bit too much, and WWE kind of is like, "Hey, whatever, we're going to do it." If they had gone on with Orton versus Batista as the main event of the 30th WrestleMania, that would have freaking sucked. I mean, not that they would have.
They wouldn't have done it. They would not have done it, and I'll tell you why. A lot of people are gonna say talk a lot of shit about this, but I don't care.